Well, thank you everyone for being here today. I wanted to take this opportunity to formally acknowledge Chief Winstrom and his decision to resign as Chief of Police for Grand Rapids Police Department and lead another police department in a different community. First and foremost, I want to express my deep gratitude to the Chief for his 4 years of very dedicated service. He worked hard days, nights. He really set the example of commitment to this community and this department and showed us all what it meant to be committed to serve as a public servant. When I appointed him 4 years ago, I knew he was a top-tiered professional, very talented and proven. And together we have navigated, him, the department, the community, some very challenging times. We stood side by side during critical incidents, celebrated significant contributions and accomplishments, and have strengthened public safety in Grand Rapids. Under Chief Winstrom's leadership, he has increased the department's morale, improved staffing, expanded neighborhood policing, increased the trust between the officers and our residents, implemented data-driven strategies, and contributed reductions in violent crime. We've had some of the lowest years of homicides in recent times since his leadership. He's built a more inclusive environment, diversified the department, and elevated standards for training, de-escalation, and mental health co-response. And the list goes on and on and on. Truly, he has made a significant impact during his tenure year, one we will never forget. Our community is much better because of his leadership, and I wish he and his family much success as they begin their next chapter. Chief, again, thank you for what you've done and for leaving us with a strong foundation to continue to build upon and making sure that we have a good cadre of leadership in this department. I'm also here today to reassure our community and department, even with this upcoming transition, that we are still standing together as a city, as a department, as an organization, as a community, and will continue to be one of the safest mid-sized cities in the country. That is the expectation. That is the standard. That is the commitment, regardless of who the chief executive law enforcement officer is in our community. My immediate focus is on the continuity of leadership in the department, and to that end, I have met with the chief, the deputy chiefs, and just this morning met with the captains in the department. I will be naming an interim chief and expect to make that announcement early next week. I did not want to do so today on Chief Winstrom's first day back from interviewing, in order to give him the respect that he has earned and deserved as our chief, as he continues to be so for the remainder of this month. And I wanted him to have an opportunity to address the department, the community, and media first. As a reminder, appointing the police chief is my responsibility as city manager and mine alone, and I take it very seriously. After I make my interim appointment, I will begin the process of selecting a permanent chief. This will be a competitive process that will include engaging a professional search firm, creating opportunities from input from the public and law enforcement, and evaluating talent both inside and outside the organization. For now, I want to return back to my earlier remarks of gratitude. Again, Chief Winstrom, thank you for your service and partnership. Our city is much stronger because of you. And at this time, I'd like to invite the chief back to the podium.
Thanks for all the kind words, City Manager. Had some pretty stressful interactions out in public lately. Some public interviews. I've been in this room with a lot of you guys from the media over the last 4 years many times for some very difficult conversations. This is definitely top three most difficult conversation I've ever had with you guys. So it's very emotional for me. Tell you, we have the best city in the country. We have the best police department in the country. I have made lifelong friends with the men and women in uniform standing behind you. Just tell you, for me, this decision came down to what is best for my family. And I know we just met with the leadership team and talking about how far this police department has come, this city has come And I mean it. Grand Rapids Police Department, the most professional. I know yesterday, Michigan Association Chiefs of Police were in town for a yearly convention, and Captain Siver, our training captain, was there giving a big presentation on how we train our officers in use of force. We are the leading edge in policing, not only in Michigan, in the country. We are exceptional. And you guys are about to have a lot of competition from my new department. But I'm comfortable leaving because there's 10 people standing behind you in uniform. And Chief of Staff, Matt, you're not wearing a uniform, but you're certainly included in this. We have an exceptional leadership team that I know if something happened, a week ago that I didn't come to work, I know that there would be a seamless transition of exceptional professional leadership. We have 2 exceptional, extremely experienced deputy chiefs who have been through the trenches. We have been through so much over the past 4 years. This department is still headed for great places. I'm excited to follow along and see where the next police chief takes it, because it's just such a great department. So for me, my decision to go to my new home comes down to one word, and that's family. What's best for my family, and that's an assessment that I made. Very excited to go down and take over the Pensacola Police Department, and boy, this is a tough one for me, guys. But I appreciate to the media. We've had quite a few conversations over the past 4 years, and I want to thank you. One thing, I will never say you haven't been fair to us. You've had a lot of opportunities to be unfair to the Grand Rapids Police Department. I know that we've got a command staff that's willing to talk to you guys on subject. That hasn't always been the case. We haven't always been that transparent and open with you guys, and I think part of that is because of the lack of trust with the media. You guys have proven yourselves over the last 4 years that you have treated us fairly, so I want to say thank you for that. And well, usually I'm not at a loss of words, but this is a tough one for me, guys. So I'll just leave it at that. Thank you.
You know, for questions?
Chief, what's your top accomplishments, would you say, during your nearly 4 years here? And a second question about the Pensacola Police Union supporting the acting chief. Will that cause any problems for you?
I'll take the second one first. No, I spent the last few days in Pensacola, and like I remember, it was a little bit of deja vu because 4 years ago, I came as an outsider to Grand Rapids from Chicago. There was skepticism. Cops are just skeptical and cynical, and that's because of the work that we do. We see the worst in humans. We're lied to constantly, oftentimes many times on a day, and we just don't trust people until they earn our trust. So I'm going to have to get down there and earn the trust. I had the same encounter here, but no worries about that. First question was my top accomplishments. Tell you, and I would love to claim responsibility for all the amazing work done over the past 4 years, but the 10 leaders in this room and the hundreds of men and women that work for this team have accomplished so much. It's really been my distinct honor to be the face of all their accomplishments, but the changes that we've made in the way that we train, all the staffing, as I said, when I started, staffing was our biggest challenge. When we were down so many, budget, people were calling for, we got to increase the size of the department. And look at the city manager, and he's like, Chief, you got like 45 vacancies. We don't have to increase anything. You got to fill those vacancies. Getting the department morale up to retain officers, making this a destination department where people want to leave other departments and come here to be, the gold standard of policing. So getting those vacancies filled, but if I have to name one more, it's getting the support of the community. Policing is super political, even though we try to be apolitical as much as we can, but there's always political points to be gained from talking about police issues. And it was a challenge coming on, as I'm sure you recall, less than a month into my tenure here when one of our officers was in a very high-profile officer-involved shooting, Patrick Leoya. The trust level in the community was just rock bottom, and cops don't want to work at a place that they don't feel supported by their community, that you don't want to go work for a city that you think doesn't like you. And that was a feeling early on, like that we were a necessary evil. Police don't want to be seen as a necessary evil. Police want to be seen as a necessary good. And turning that narrative around to get to the point where a vast majority of the people in Grand Rapids see the Grand Rapids Police Department as a necessary good, a positive thing. That's been the biggest accomplishment.
So on that note, it seemed like a lot was turning around here at Grand Rapids Police Department, bringing the staff up above budget levels when you first got into your position here. So why leave? I mean, I've heard a lot from neighbors. They're very supportive of you, and now you're leaving, so why leave?
Yeah, I've had a lot here. I really got to, like I said, I love this city. I love the people in the city. This has been a very, very, very special place. But for me, being an outsider, I've lived many places. I was born in Buffalo, New York. I lived in Austin, Texas. I try not to admit it, but I lived in New Jersey for a while. I lived in New York, and then Chicago, and here. And just finding the right place. Like I said, family is the answer. And I have strong family connections in Florida. I have, on my wife's side, family living in Florida now that we're going to be much, much closer to. I actually have a large friend group, ex-Chicagoans down there, and to find a city with the same mindset of they want to thrive, they're looking to grow, they have a lot of the same issues going on here. They're building those extra residential units, but they're also building city infrastructure. They're building more entertainment venues and things like that to make it a place where you want to be, you want to raise your kids, and it's certainly Grand Rapids is that, but at some point in time too, 4 years I've been here, you got behind you have 10 men and women in uniform who are exceptional leaders. And something tells me, if you guys leave, you can see the pictures of the chiefs on the wall. Some chiefs stayed as long as 18 years. And I'm not sure that these guys want to work in a place where the leadership is that static for that long. And a little of me, I think the thing that really pushed me over the edge to say yes to this was knowing that sometimes a little movement's good for an agency. I've done so much, but I bet the next chief can take it just to even the next level, and I'm excited to see that happen, and I'm sure it will.
Talk about your accomplishments so far, Chief. Is there anything you didn't get to accomplish in your 4 years here that you wish you could have?
Yeah. Yep. I'll tell you one of the things. If we're going through, things that are difficult to leave. I keep mentioning the men and women behind you. We have such a strong bench of young leaders in our police department. Anytime a open process for promotion comes up, if we're looking to promote a sergeant, lieutenant, I get in the room with these guys and we're like, we have so many great leaders. Police departments would kill for the problem. The police department I came from, Chicago, we would have an opportunity, we're going to make a commander of this unit. And you get a list of 10 people and you'd look at it and be like, maybe this 1 to 10 people can do it, maybe. Here, when we're looking to fill a vacancy of a promotion, we're looking at a list of 20 people. Like, these are 20 superstars. I just can't say it enough how the city of Grand Rapids, we have just the most exceptional men and women as police. So, short answer is not being here to see everybody get promoted to sergeant, to lieutenant, to captain, because we have so many strong leaders that I'm like, man, any other police department, any other agency, this person would be all the way up through the ranks, and there's just so much we can do. And then I'll throw out one other regret, and that's, I care very much about, obviously, the victims of violent crime, and oftentimes they have family members of homicide victims, especially sisters and moms, mostly moms up here, just to talk about the cases, the open cases. And I'm not going to name all of them, but we have a fantastic clearance rate, over 75% of murders. But I'll mention Tino Asasi, who was killed a few years ago. And Tino was living outside, and I met Tino when I was a brand new chief. I think it was even before I was sworn in. So I was riding with our homeless outreach team, and I met him on the street 2, if not 3 times. Very interesting guy, very kind. So the one person that I made a personal connection with, who was then murdered on the streets over there by St. Mary's, and not being able yet to be here when that family gets the news that these are the answers, we're going to seek justice. That's very important to me. So I wish I could stay to see that, but I'm sure I'll check on the news every day and see, because we have such an exceptional group of detectives that I don't like using cold case. Because families don't like hearing that. Let's say, we haven't forgotten these victims. And I wish that every case that I was here out at the scene, talk to the families. I wish I could see that to the end.
Commissioner Drew Robbins, I'm sure other people have seen it too on Facebook, said that there was a lack of, he thinks maybe because there was a lack of clear support from, the Public Safety Committee and other community leaders. I think he used the word far left. Any truth to that?
So police chief's job gets a lot easier when you're in a city that's just 100% pro-police. If everywhere I go, people are applauding, great job, police department, I'll tell you, that would be a lot easier. I didn't take a job for an easy job. I knew this was going to be a challenge. I didn't know we were going to have all the specific challenges that came about while I was here. I have a lot of colleagues across the country who work in cities that are more reflexively pro-police, and it is easier to get things done. I remember I feel like it was a big fight to get drones, which are just a basic tool of policing now. They jump through so many hoops to get the community support and politician support. I'll throw out one other example. Some of you may remember we had a docuseries come out where I thought it was a positive thing. A lot of people in the city thought it was a good idea to expose the city to a documentary series of what the police department does on a day-to-day basis, because if you're not riding with us, you don't really know, and there's a lot of misunderstanding. So docuseries comes out, and there were people that were mad that it was coming out, not because there was anything wrong with it, but because it showed us in a true light, which is a good light. And that was an odd thing for me, and even some elected officials, criticized us. You can't put out this docuseries because it's making you look good. So when you politicize policing, that's a recipe for failure. One thing I mentioned in Pensacola is show me a city across the country anywhere that is a high-performing, successful city, and I will show you a high-performing, successful police department. Those two go hand in hand, and intelligent politicians understand that. Intelligent politicians who want best for the city understand that. Politicians that maybe are out for themselves to score cheap political points will use policing to score cheap political points. Have I seen that here? Absolutely. Do I think that the next chief is in a position to even take it to the next step so that those voices get quieter and quieter because there's no merit to them? They're just very unserious. Yeah, I think that the next police chief is going to be able to come in here and take this to the next level.
That's not why you're leaving, right?
There's so many factors, John. If I'm going to boil it down to one thing, it's family. It's the right time to go. 4 years, I think, is good. I keep saying I want to go out on top. We've accomplished so much. It has not been easy. I don't think this. I was going to say. Man, it seems like 40 years that the city manager, I haven't said it yet, I want to thank the city manager for taking the chance to hire me. As an outsider, coming from Chicago, I know that he took a risk there. And then for both of us to be thrown in so quickly into very, very tumultuous times, that could really have, one thing I keep saying, we knew going in after the shooting of Patrick Loyola that we couldn't make it any better. It was our job to make sure that we didn't make it any worse, and that we led as good as we can. And I think we've done that, and you see the results from that in what the city looks like today.
Take a couple more questions.
To Mark, if we could talk a little bit about kind of like the interim and the timeline for finding a permanent chief. I know when I was doing research on previous chiefs, when we go to hire them, public sector, looking at probably them to find the next chief.
We'll put out a RFP process for a search firm, and I hope they submit in terms of wanting to participate in the process, but we'll make sure we get the best search firm, similar to getting the best person for the job. In terms of timeline, and I saw a previous story that looked at the past process and reported an 8-month period. And I just want to remind the public, the only reason it took 8 months was because our previous police chief gave us a long runway, an 8-month announcement to his retirement. Our current chief didn't quite give us 8 months here. So we were able to plan the process around the timeline such that his last day, I think was on a Friday, last day at work, Chief Winstrom started that Monday. So certainly it will be a little bit more aggressive than the time frame that was used last time. We're still in the process of planning that. I'll have more to announce on that, but it should not take as long as it did last time.
Obviously, you list off a lot of accomplishments by the chief. Talk about the morale, bringing in officers. I talked to law enforcement officials across the communities in our area. They talk about like they're happy he's leaving because they're hoping that they'll like, be able to get more recruits to their own departments. How do you lose a person like that?
Well, you tell them, first of all, this is not the NIL in college football where people follow coaches. So we're locked in here. I think the chief said it earlier. We have a lot of people who are committed to this department who want a career. Chiefs are a little bit mobile because you've already established, in most cases, a career in a department. And we were fortunate to get the chief who retired from Chicago to come here. And so I think the officers that are here still want to build their career and move up. And what this does, it gives an opportunity for the next person to step up. With the chief leaving, there'll be a lot of people that will get promoted into leadership because it's a chain effect. And so I think people are looking for those opportunities. And the department is in a great state. We are really the flagship of policing, I believe, not only in the state but across the Midwest in terms of mid-sized communities. And so I'm hearing a lot of good things. Again, I met with officers, captains, deputy chiefs, union leaders, and the morale is high in the department, and I continue to believe that will be the case.
Is there anything you wish you had done or known other colleagues who have done to have kept the chief here?
Sign them to a 10-year contract. I think, yeah, matter of fact, I'll say this. Unfortunately, the pension plan that the police department has is because of the years in which we really had to manage pension liability. It's still open to the officers, but the one person in the department that's in the uniform that did not get into the defined benefit pension plan was the police chief. And I got to believe, had that been the case, maybe there would have been a different consideration, knowing that there was a vested pension benefit on the line with the defined benefit plan, but maybe not. The chief can answer that himself. But I think that's something that we certainly have to look for, and when we create the package for the new chief coming in, to make sure that we are offering the best benefit and pay that we can as an organization.
So you're going to look for longevity for the next chief?
I'm going to look for the best person. So that we'll get what we get from them in terms of their service. We had 4 years out of Chief Winstrom. Chief Payne had a 30-plus year, but it last 3 years as chief. I think Rahinsky was 4.5, 5. So the average tenure, I was just talking to Deputy Chief Maycroft yesterday as we were at the Michigan Association of Chief of the Police Conference. The average tenure of a police chief is now somewhere between 4 or 5 years. It is a highly stressful job. You have to maintain the morale internally in the organization, build the trust of the community, and as the chief mentioned, you have to be very mindful of some of the expectations that are sometimes politicized. It is a very grueling job, and the days of people lasting, you said 18 years? Those are few and far between as chief of police.
Will this be a national search?
Yes.
You mentioned in a recent city commission meeting that in your 31 years, kind of been working in city government, you worked with 9 chiefs. You said Chief Winstrom was the best you worked with. What makes a good police chief?
Well, one who has vision, and again, all the things I said earlier, it's kind of, you have to have an inside-outside relationship, both with the department and the community, and be able to hear all voices and police the entire community. Those that are supportive as well as those that are critical, because everybody deserves to be safe. And you got to do that without taking it personally, because it is a job that requires oversight of a department 24/7, 365. Every moment of the day, every awakening moment, there is someone answering 911 calls, there is someone patrolling the streets, and this is the chief person responsible for it. So there's a tremendous amount of responsibility in being police chief.
What makes this Grand Rapids job different than any other kind of mid-sized cities in the country and Michigan?
Well, I think the future of our city, the fact that not only is the department fully staffed and growing, but the city is still, we're on a growth trajectory with all the investments that are being made, with the quality of life that's increasing, with the success of our local economy when compared to the statewide economy or the national uncertainty. We have something special in this community. And so just like when Chief Winstrom moved here, not only to be part of the department, but I think there are people who want to be part of a thriving community as well for their family and their quality of life, who will not trade in their skis for a surfboard.
What's the chief's not left?
March 2nd is when you start a new job, so officially March 1st here. We'll have some transition. He'll be taking some time off intermittently, obviously, to help with in transition, but again, we have capable people, and I'll be naming the interim early next week.